Forget everything you think you know about Harry Potter for a moment, because what you're about to hear could make even the most devoted Potterheads jump out of their seats. In this video, we're diving into some of the most controversial Harry Potter theories, the kind that might get us completely roasted for even mentioning them. Welcome, members of the Grand Wizarding Council. After this video, you may never look at the series the same way again. These claims might shock you and maybe even make you a little angry, but remember, in the wizarding world, there is always more than meets the eye. If you're ready, let's begin with the theories that might just melt our brains. First of all, to slowly pull you into darker waters, I want to start with a relatively well-known theory. One that J.K. Rowling herself has said is a beautiful idea that fits quite well. We all know the famous story of the three brothers from the Deathly Hallows, the tale of the three clever but ambitious wizard brothers who tricked death and received the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Invisibility Cloak. But what if this story is not just a children's fairy tale? What if it actually summarizes the fate of the main characters in the series? According to this popular theory, the three brothers symbolize three key figures in the story. The first brother, who craved power and demanded the Elder Wand, is, as you might guess, none other than Lord Voldemort. A character who sought greater power throughout his life, who challenged death itself, but was ultimately destroyed by that very ambition. The second brother is the tragic figure who asked for the Resurrection Stone to bring back his lost love. This can only be Severus Snape, the man who devoted his entire life to his one true love, Lily Potter. Snape would have done anything to bring Lily back, and his life was spent under the shadow of that impossible desire. And finally, we come to the third brother, the most humble and wisest of them all. The one who asked for the invisibility cloak to hide from death and eventually greeted death like an old friend. Of course, this brother represents Harry Potter himself. Harry never sought power, nor did he try to bring back the dead. He only focused on surviving and protecting the people he loved, and in the end, he accepted death. But who is the cunning figure of death who wins in the end of the story? This is where the theory becomes truly fascinating. Death is Albus Dumbledore. When you think about it, it makes incredible sense. The person who gave Harry the invisibility cloak, who once possessed the Elder Wand, and who found the Resurrection Stone was none other than Dumbledore. And in the end, the one who greets Harry like an old friend at King's Cross Station is also him. When a fan asked Rowling about this theory, she responded that it was one of her favorite fan theories, and that it was a beautiful and fitting interpretation. Because of that, this isn't just a random fan idea. Many see it as a brilliant literary layer that adds depth to the series. Now let's move on to the part where things get truly controversial, the section where I might start getting seriously roasted. Get ready because I'm about to defend the Dark Lord. Just a little. What if I told you that Lord Voldemort might not simply be a pure-blood obsessed psychopath, but rather a misunderstood leader rebelling against a corrupt system? Yes, I know that sounds crazy. But for a moment, let's forget Voldemort's brutal methods and examine his motivations. The wizarding world might look magical on the surface, but beneath it lies deep inequality and discrimination. House elves are forced to work like slaves. Intelligent beings like centaurs and goblins are treated as second-class citizens. And witches and wizards born to muggle families constantly face prejudice. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Magic does little more than protect this corrupted system, drowning in bureaucracy and inefficiency. According to this theory, Voldemort appeared at exactly this moment. His true goal wasn't just to eliminate muggles, but to completely tear down the unfair structure of the wizarding world. His vision was to remove the statute of secrecy that restricted the potential of wizards and allow them to take their rightful place in the world. Of course, his methods were horrifying, and his pure-blood ideology was unforgivable. Rowling herself has said that Voldemort's true motivation was his desire for immortality and his inability to understand love. But this theory suggests that there might be something more behind his actions than simple evil. From this perspective, Harry could be seen as nothing more than a heroic pawn, polished and manipulated by the Ministry to protect the existing system. So, what do you think? Did Voldemort have even a small point? Didn't the wizarding world deserve a fundamental change? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And if you'd like to see more videos where we explore theories like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's dive into something a little more intellectual, but just as surprising: mythology. We know that J.K. Rowling is an incredibly knowledgeable writer and that she used countless mythological references while writing the series. But some character parallels are so perfect that calling them coincidence seems almost impossible. Take our hero, Harry Potter. Harry shows striking similarities to Horus, the ancient Egyptian god. Horus is a hero who fights a serpent like enemy named Set to avenge his father, much like Harry fighting Voldemort. Horus is also associated with the sky and is often depicted as a falcon, which parallels Harry's incredible flying ability in Quidditch. Now let's look at the brain of the group, Hermione Granger. Hermione resembles Athena, the Greek goddess of wisdom and strategy. Athena is known as the figure who guides heroes and gives them advice, just as Hermione constantly guides Harry and Ron. One of the most interesting clues appears in the Chamber of Secrets. According to myth, Perseus avoids looking directly at Medusa to escape her petrifying gaze. Instead, he watches her reflection in his shield. Similarly, Hermione comes up with the idea of using a mirror to defeat the basilisk with its deadly gaze. And of course, it almost goes without saying that Dumbledore represents Merlin, the wise mentor from the legend of King Arthur. With his long white beard, vast wisdom, and role as a guide to the hero, Dumbledore is essentially a modern Merlin. Some fans even go further and suggest that Ginny Weasley may be connected to Sekhmet, the lion-headed Egyptian goddess of war. Sekhmet is both a destructive warrior and a protective figure. Ginny's fiery, fearless spirit in the later books, her aggressive magical abilities, like the Bat Bogey Hex, and the fact that she belongs to Gryffindor, a house symbolized by a lion, make this theory quite fascinating. In short, Harry Potter may not just be a children's story, but a modern retelling of mythological archetypes that have existed for thousands of years. And now we arrive at the theory that I believe will cause the most outrage. Please sit down and stay calm. What if Harry and Hermione are actually siblings? Yes, I know. This theory completely turns the relationship dynamics we know upside down. But this claim circulating in the depths of the internet presents some arguments that make people question things. According to this theory, while Lily and James Potter were under threat from Voldemort, they weren't only trying to protect Harry, they also had a baby daughter. To keep her safe, they secretly placed baby Hermione with a muggle family, the Grangers, so she could grow up away from the wizarding world. No one knew this secret except Dumbledore, and possibly McGonagall. Supporters of this theory point to Hermione's unwavering loyalty to Harry and her almost instinctive desire to protect him. The way she is always willing to sacrifice herself for him in every dangerous situation is interpreted as the protective instinct of an older sister rather than just friendship. Rowling once said in an interview that Hermione was a caricature of her younger self, and this personal connection fuels the theory even further. Additionally, Rowling revealed that in early drafts, she had considered giving Hermione a sister character, but later abandoned the idea. This revelation only fueled the what if speculation even more. Of course, this theory has many flaws. Hermione's hardworking nature and strict rule-following personality fit much better with a muggle-born student who has to work harder than everyone else to prove herself, rather than someone from a pure-blood wizarding family. But still, what if it were true? What if the instant connection they felt when they first met on the train wasn't just the beginning of a friendship, but two lost siblings unknowingly finding each other again? Wouldn't that give the entire story a completely different and much more tragic dimension? These were the 4 Harry Potter theories that I personally find the most controversial, and that will probably get me into trouble after this video. From the true identities of the 3 brothers, to Voldemort's possibly justified cause, to mythological origins, and finally to the shocking sibling theory. So, which one sounded the most convincing to you, or which one did you find the most ridiculous? Do you know any other theories that you think would cause absolute chaos in the fandom? I can't wait to read them all in the comments. Remember, the purpose of these theories isn't to criticize the series, but to show once again just how deep and layered this incredible universe truly is. Maybe in the next video, we'll explore a theory suggested by one of you in the comments. What do you think? Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.